Welcome everybody to the Genesis Mindset, and today is going to be a stream. So basically what I'm going to be doing today is I want to talk with everyone in the audience. I want to talk with everyone in Pulse Chain and the Atropa ecosystem. So basically this is going to be completely open to everyone. So I've actually got the link in the StreamYard here. So if you just scroll to the top, if you don't have to have a camera. Obviously, you're going to have a microphone so you can actually interact. But basically, I want to start like a forum, so where we can talk about what we're actually going to do moving forward as the Atropa movement. So this is something that one of my friends pitched to me and really encouraged me to move forward with. So what I'm going to do is I'm first going to just start with a presentation, just set the scene, and then I'm going to open it up to everyone who wants to come up and have a discussion. So very casual. There's nothing it's just very casual, very open discussion. So yeah, let's get on with it. So the Atropa movement. So first, let's set the scene with the Atropa. So just a reminder for everyone about what the Atropa ecosystem is all about. So the intentions of the Atropa ecosystem is to create a decentralized financial system with all the instruments of a financial system on the blockchain. So at the moment, obviously, we're all in cryptocurrency. And one of the things that we've gravitated to Pulse Chain for is DeFi, real DeFi, decentralized finance. And more than anything, I feel like the decentralized finance. At the moment, decentralized finance is all around cryptocurrency, but we're not really utilizing it in the way that it should be utilized. So one of the things that Maria has tried to do with the design of this system is to try to avoid all the scenarios that lead to scams, rug pulls, and a lack of trust in a developer. Maria has done this in my opinion, one of the best ways out of any ecosystems that I've ever seen. You can see in the charts, they're up and to the right. This is exactly what you want to see in the charts. You don't want to see scams. You don't want to see rug pulls, and you really want to trust the developer. When Maria actually came out in Zurich, the whole market went crazy. It really eliminated that trust barrier that people had. You could really see Maria's character from that interview. It's like, wow, he's a really humble, sincere guy who's actually trying to make the world a better place. He's actually got his heart in the right place. That's what I see. I see the heart. I listen to the words, but I see the heart. I feel the intention behind them. And I was like, wow, this guy is amazing. I really want to align myself with this more and more. And it's set up, James says, it's set up where I can't exploit it. And if I pull out everything I have, it's going to be less profitable in the short term as it would in the long term. And I'm not going to kill the system at this point. This is a really key point that I want to highlight as well as I actually go through this. So very good to see some of these names. Sunny, what's up, Sunny? Tintop, Igazio Rubini. Oh, I don't think I've seen you before, Igazio. So good to see you, man. Vibra, Adam, what's up, man? My boy, Grab. So good to see some of these familiar names. Oh, boy. Wow, okay. Professor McHappiness, Atropa, LFG. Maria has mentioned layer 8 in the IRC chat. Can someone please guide me on layer 2, 3, 4? And I think Peter, Atropa, Teddy Bear is layer 1 right. And what about the other layers? Okay, we'll get to this. We'll get to this, Breathe. I'm actually not too sure about that at all. So if anyone does know the answer to that, please help your boy out. That's the first time I've ever heard of layer 8, actually. So how did the Atropa ecosystem start? What actually makes it so goated from the beginning is the liquidity setup. So the start of the liquidity. So obviously one of the things that Maria did was created the Atropa ecosystem with just over 1 billion tokens. So 111,111. So a lot of ones. And then DAI stablecoin, so DAI on Pulse Chain, PDAI, and then basically locked the liquidity. So burn the liquidity between Atropa and PDAI. So I think he was giving examples in the Zurich meetup that it was about 50% of the supply of Atropa and then 1 billion PDAI, DAI on stablecoin. Then he created down and then further burned more supply of Atropa to down, and then created legal, and then burned the full supply of legal with Atropa. And then in the end, all he was left with was a small percentage of Atropa and a small percentage of down, which would end up being his profit, which would go towards his own profit and also developing the ecosystem. The beauty of this the real profound thing about this is something that really clicked in my mind. The burnt liquidity converts sell pressure into buy pressure. So all of those tokens in the middle here that says burned LP, that is potentially James or Maria selling on top of everybody. But because it's burnt, that means that James, Maria, can never sell that supply, and it can only ever be bought into. So it removes the sell pressure and creates buy pressure. This is something that's really quite profound. This is something also that Tangang tries to do with V3 liquidity, but this is V2 liquidity. So it's a little bit different. And in my opinion, I do actually want to have a chat about this with someone who's more in the know about these sorts of things. But I actually think V2 is going to be the more long-term and sustainable method of actually doing liquidity rather than V3. I think it's going to have better performance in the bear market. So now the movement. So just as a little bit of a story, me and my friends are always talking about how can we positively impact Pulse Chain? How can we actually make it better for other people? And I had a long discussion with one of my best friends, and I won't give his name, but he's continued to defend the Tangang, and I've said I don't really like how they do this and that, and he's like, no, they do it like this, and he justifies everything. But he's getting to a point now where he's like, you know what? I'm seeing everything that you're doing, and the toxicity is like too much. They're spreading too much negative vibes, and I see it all day, every day on Twitter. And so he's saying, can we actually create something on Pulse Chain? Can we create a community where we just forget about all that negativity and we only push positive energy out there? And it's like, yes, yeah, you're talking my language. He pitched the idea, what's the Atropa ecosystem like? Is it like this? I said, yes, in my opinion, on the whole, it is much more like this. It has attracted people of that nature because of the setup, because of really the way the universe works, the way energy works, the way the law of attraction works. Maria, with his mind, with his intentions, has attracted these types of people into the ecosystem. But it's not perfect. There's still greed. There's still self-centeredness. There's still extractors. There's still people who are here in for themselves. And that's going to be natural. We do have to take profit. We do have to be here for ourselves. But we ended up having this discussion for about 40 minutes. And then I hung up the phone and I went about my day. And about a minute later, my boy Muddy sent me a message, literally a minute later. And this was his message. He said, Steve, Atropa Movement. It's more than an ecosystem and a network of liquidity pools. It's a paradigm shift. It's a shift in consciousness. Everyone underselling it, calling it an ecosystem. So I was like, man, what the hell? So when these things happen in my life, it's just the universe. It's just energy. The vibration goes out there. It comes back, and I follow that. I follow nature's flow as best as I can. Oh, Sonny. I'll invite Sonny up. Awesome. What's up, Sonny?
Oh. Hola, brother. How you doing, man?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. Just seeing you on here. Thought I'd stop by and say hi.
Awesome, Sonny. Yes, very good to have you here. So welcome aboard. So you were here from the start. So as I've been talking so far, just trying to outline what the intentions are here. And I mean, you as someone who has been, well, you've basically created A1A, obviously, and you've been observing everything from the early days with Atropa. So I'd love to get your perspective on this and what you think about this kind of idea, or if you think we just leave things as they are. So as I go through, there's probably another couple of slides, and then, yeah, let's have a chat. If you want to interject anywhere as well, please feel free to interject. So it's just completely open. Okay, so from there, the why. So why are we actually doing this? Because, and this is from the discussions with my friends, the world is moving towards multi-chain. So people actually need saving. And this is something that I believe Richard Hart has really prepared Pulse Chain for. And this is something that he did with his outrage marketing. The whole intention of the outrage marketing is to maximize his outreach to the world, because showing people watches and Lambos brings their attention to you. And then he wants to save them. So then he starts educating them about what cryptocurrency should be, what decentralized finance should be. So we want to adopt that ethos of being multi-chain and saving people from themselves and from the market. You can actually own the casino. So this mindset shift that everything on Pulse Chain, a lot of it is to do with liquidity, and people aren't really taking advantage of the opportunity of what liquidity providing can actually do. If you provide liquidity, You adopt all those positive mind traits that Richard tries to teach, and you actually become the owner of the casino. You become the owner of the decentralized financial system. So this is something that can generate you passive yield for the rest of your life, as long as Pulse Chain is around. Really think about how we can provide a positive atmosphere that everyone can enjoy and participate and embrace others in. So we always talk about how can we make it more positive? How can we make it more accepting? How can we make it more loving? At the end of the day, humans are just humans. There's always going to be negativity, but how can we be a force for good? How can we actually generate that power to attract more of those types of people? Because the power of positivity, negativity. The problem with the world is at the moment there's just much more negativity. So we're not even going to think about the negatives. We're not even going to talk about it. We're only going to focus our attention on the positives. That's it. Then how can we work together to win together? One of the main things that actually attracted me to the Atropa ecosystem in the first place was, wow, I'm seeing a system here where everybody can actually win. I started getting people talking to me about liquidity providing in DMs and saying, oh, don't talk about it too much. If you talk, like, it's going to ruin everyone's opportunity. And I was like, I want to talk about this. I want to share it. I want people to know about this, and the right kind of people to know about this. And I think just naturally, the right kind of people are coming to know about it. So how can we actually do this where we're not harming each other? We're not creating PvP. We're actually working together. And then what kind of mindset do we need to actually have? This is going to be the most difficult thing. But again, if we use the Tangang as an example, they're an exemplary example of what a culture can actually do for an ecosystem. So within themselves, they're very tight-knit within themselves. They're a gang. They all support each other within the ecosystem. That's a very, very powerful force. It's a very, very powerful and magnetic force. But from the outside looking in, there can be a lot of deterrence with that. But what qualities can we take from there? They're teaching, they're educating, they're sharing. They're actually creating a particular mindset that's creating price charts that go like this, and a mindset and a culture that goes like this. And that's what we want to try and generate as well. So what I'm doing here is I'm just laying out a template. I'm just opening up a discussion, and I want to hear what people actually have to say about it. I don't have any right to say, hey, let's do this. I'm just putting the idea out here. I'm going to say, this is what I'm going to continue to do. If you want to follow along, and if you want to try and participate in this, I'm going to keep talking about these things over and over again, because I really do think that it's very important. If we have these kinds of mindsets, then we will all win together in the end. So, oh man, the good chats going on in the comments here. So thanks a lot, everyone, for engaging. And again, the link is there. And Sunny, if you want to interject at any point, just interrupt me, because I have a tendency to just kind of speak in the flow. So you just interrupt as I go. If you have any ideas or anything to add, please feel free to. Share the stream. So Maddie, the stream is up here. So if you scroll up, you were saying share the stream. Okay, but if anyone does want to get in, at the very top of the chat, there will be the link that you can actually join up. Okay, so the becoming. So this is the mindset. This is the mindset that I see. This is the mindset that's actually attracted me to it, and this is the mindset that I think, in a way, you could consider this to be like the 10 commandments of the Atropa movement. Sorry, no, we're not up to that part just yet. So what does it actually mean to become this? So retaining value in the ecosystem. So for example, one of the things, if we want to continue to grow this ecosystem, is to, I remember Maria saying, taking profits into P stables in the bear market. And I thought that was a great idea. So it's really retaining value in the ecosystem rather than taking it off chain. Being a benevolent LPing. So in other words, thinking about LPing as being a participant and an owner of the ecosystem in a positive way. So something like BFF, the example that Maria is trying to set with BFF, and the notion that you can generate passive yield. Participation versus extraction. So we're here for us, not for me. And you also have to be here to take care of yourself. That is definitely something that I fully understand. But my mindset is, if you have the attitude of us, where all of us can actually win, it ends up in the long term being better. If you have the attitude of only me winning, it's a very short term mindset. That's why I highlighted that paragraph at the start of what Maria said, because I think that really exemplifies a lot of what I'm trying to share here. Holder versus trader. So again, going back to this Richard Hart ethos, the long-term delayed gratification attitude, the holding in the sense of being a long-term holder of tokens within the Atropa ecosystem, being a long-term liquidity provider versus just being a trader. Not that there's anything wrong with trading. Plenty of people trade bear. There's plenty of opportunities there, and I encourage that too. But I also encourage the attitude of, if you don't like trading, this is probably the perfect ecosystem where you can actually be a holder. Profit taking in dollars versus percentage. So this is something where it's up for debate. It's something that we discussed, but think about this. Being an Ethereum holder, if you got into Ethereum from day one, so Ethereum was launched however many years ago, if you got in at day one, let's just say you had 10,000 Ethereum, and if you took profits in percentages, or let's say 9,999 Ethereum, and then you say, I'm going to take profits in thirds in every 3 years. So I'm going to take 3,333 out in 3 years, so on and so forth, until eventually you've got no Ethereum left. Now, in the short term, it's like, wow, I'm taking a third of my Ethereum out at 3,333 Ethereum. This is a massive profit, but then I'm only left with 6,666. However, if I look at it in dollar value and just say, instead of taking out a percentage, in the long run, if you're just taking out a small dollar value, let's say, for example, I don't know, $10,000 every few months, you will, instead of being left now with 0 Ethereum, you might be left with still 8,000 Ethereum left, but you've still been able to take profits just carefully and slowly all the way along the way. So you've been able to look after yourself without being too greedy, and you've actually been able to take profit without destroying the chart. So that one's going to be an interesting one, and that one is, I think, what I'm hoping is going to be set as an example through BFF. Okay, so now the mindset. Here we go. So mindset, gratitude. I'll just, so gratitude. So the 10 mindsets that I feel that the Atropa movement, or that I'm going to have for the Atropa movement. So gratitude. Gratitude vibrates to everything, to everyone. When you have a grateful mindset, it's an abundant mindset. The universe is always giving. There's always, if you have gratitude, your mind and heart are open. You can see and hear opportunities as they come. And it's just a lot better to be around people who are grateful and caring for one another. Humility. You don't always have to be right. This is something, again, I still see on Twitter. Everyone wants to be right, and it never ends. It never ends. So even, I don't want to name names because it will feel like an attack on people, but I'll definitely see tweets where it's like, I'll agree with that person and I'll also agree with that person, but they're both saying, well, no, you're wrong and I'm right. And he's saying, well, no, you're wrong and I'm right. And then he'll come back with another thing, and then he'll come back with another thing. And then it just goes on. And then I'll tweet in these threads, and then I just keep getting bombarded with notifications of people just wanting to prove that they're right. You know what? Nobody gives a shit if you're right. Everybody only cares if they are themselves right. So it's like a humble mindset of, I know nothing and I'm just trying to learn. And like Somi, why do so many people love Somi? Okay, he's a controversial figure these days, but he has a peanut brain. That's a humble mindset. I know nothing. That's the best mindset, because you can just accept everything. If you have a I know everything mindset, your mind becomes very fixed and closed and narrow. Selfless. So us versus, or an us mentality rather than a me versus you mentality. I really believe in this from like, I mean, psychologically, spiritually, physics, from the perspective of physics. I look at this at a deeply rational perspective. We actually are fundamentally all one thing. We all came from the universe, which is just the one existence. So we are an us, but we have separation of you and me in our mind. And because there is that, this is where you start to see, like BFF, for example, the us versus me. Once it gets to the 8K, I've got to quickly sell before everybody else. So there's me versus you, me versus the market. What about if we had an us mentality? That's the kind of thing that I want to try and live by. Acceptance, so flowing with the world. Things change, things happen. Acceptance. Okay, there was a move that you missed out on. Okay, there was something that dumped on you, or somebody took profits and you didn't get a chance to take profits. Okay, no problem. The next thing will come along. There's always going to be opportunities in the world. If you have an accepting mind, this is something that Richard Hart also preaches, adaptability to the world. So I really love this idea of acceptance, abundance. So gratitude, abundance, they go hand in hand. the abundance mindset always brings more into your life. If you have a lacking mindset, that's all you're going to see. So you're going to have that greed. You're going to have that desire that's going to want to just extract from the world. So gratitude and abundance go hand in hand, in my opinion. Now, just 5 more. Transparency. So everything's on the blockchain. This is one that's up for debate because people do want to have privacy. But one thing that I do like about the concept of transparency, this is something that I think is one of the core ethoses of Richard as well. He's very transparent with everything that he does with everyone. I remember people harassed him all the time. When's Pulse Chain going to launch? When's Pulse Chain going to launch? And he told you hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, I can't give a date. I can't give a date. And people with their lacking mindset, I want a date. I want my profit. I want my 10,000x now. So what did he do? He would tell you, okay, I can't give you a date because this is what happens with software, and it's going to be like this. This is what happens with coding. And I'll give you something, but it's not going to be accurate. And people still crucified him. And it was like, man, people, trustworthy. Crypto should be trustless, but people do need trust. This is the thing. We are a community of people, and I think trust is essential. And I'd like to think that I would always like to be a trustworthy person. And I feel like I project that energy, and I feel like a lot of people come and they trust me with a lot of things, and they really share things with me because I project that trustworthiness. So I think if we can all just project that trustworthiness, which is something that comes down to your own mind, then it's a really powerful force. Because if we can rely on each other, okay, BFF to 8K, instead of, I don't trust that everybody's going to hold to 8K. Like 8K step one, man, people are talking like 100K, 200K. There's only 777 suppliers. So shout out to Freedom77. There's a very small supply for BFF. But because there's no trustworthiness, I have to beat everybody else to get that selling before everyone else. Collaborative, working together to win together. So really always having that collaborative mindset rather than just me. Let's actually work together. And this is what actually any high performance team works in a collaborative manner. This is the optimum way. Everybody is like an expert in a particular thing. They all come together and they all collaborate and share, and it creates this hive mind mentality. Sharing, so that goes hand in hand with collaborating, helping those who need, but also more importantly, helping them help themselves. So a lot of people will come to me and say, what about this token or that token? Man, I got no idea. I have no idea about which token or what token. Just because I'm on YouTube and I have a microphone and a camera, it doesn't mean that I know anything about which token to buy is better. I have certain philosophies and ideas that I try and follow, but I don't actually know which is going to work. But I'm happy to share with you to help you learn for yourself. And this is why so thank you for coming up, Sunny. This is why I love Sunny's Pub. Sunny is of that mindset of just sharing and also helping people to fish for themselves, not just giving them the fish, but actually helping them to learn for themselves. That's much more important. So they can actually grow and develop into someone who can become like a positive force for the community. And then respect. So no matter what, always respecting each other and respecting others. There's always going to be disagreements. And again, this goes back to I'm right, you're right, the arguing on Twitter, the fighting, like projecting out that energy that's respectful, that other people outside of the ecosystem, when it's a multi-chain world, can actually look, what's this? All these people that call themselves like within the Atropa movement, they're very respectful. They don't talk to people like they're shit. I want to be a part of that. One of the things that actually got me interested in the Tang Gang was there was a guy, Citrus. He basically sent me a DM and was like, man, I've heard this stuff about Maria. They took liquidity out. I don't think you should follow the Atropa ecosystem. Here's what we do in the Tang Gang. And I really vibed with that. He wasn't yelling at me saying it was stupid, it was dumb. He showed me examples. It's like he sat me down and showed me the way rather than forcing his opinion. He was really respectful. And I like that. So these are just like 10 mindsets that I think would be really, really beneficial. And with that, that's it. That's all I have. So what I wanted to do today is I wanted to just, Maddie's here as well. So we'll add Maddie to the stage. I just wanted to present that out into the world and say, this is what I feel is the Atropa movement. This is what me and my friends have been discussing. This is the kind of vibe that I want to be getting. So here's Muddy here. So Muddy is the one who instigated all this. Muddy got me into the Atropa ecosystem. He's the one that sent that message. So shout out to you, Muddy. So yeah, I've talked enough. So Sunny, Maddie, what do you guys feel about this? Have you got anything to add to it?
I'll throw in. Community is such a big part of what we got going on here, and that's what I love most about you and your stream. And you know, you can see it in the comments. We have positive and negative, right? And you can't have one without the other. But there's so many of us here that are on a good wavelength and actually working together that it's truly the only way we can all do it together.
I totally agree. And that was one thing in Sonny's pub that I loved also from day one, when I used to, that's where I got this idea where I say, oh, PvP. You would often talk about like player versus player and like this mindset shift. And I was like, wow, I love that. I feel like I'm really in the right kind of a place. And I mean, Sonny's pub is a place that nurtures a lot of this kind of mindset. If anyone's not in Sonny's pub, you just go in there. It's like, it's much more loving. It's much more caring. It's much more like sharing. And it really has this kind of mindset that I feel is so important to make any kind of community grow and work.
And what's really cool about what we have going on here is the liquidity pools. It truly is something where if you're alone doing it by yourself with your 10 or 100 or $1,000, you could have 100 other people there with you, and you could have 10 times the amount of money in that pool, which means you're going to have 10 times the amount of volume, right? So now everyone's actually making more money together.
Right. And the kind of charts that creates as well, like maybe it's going to be easy to show with some examples. So I'm just going to bring up, I'll bring up some examples here. I mean, everyone's familiar with the rug pull, but it's always better when you can actually see it firsthand. So I'm just going to share. So while I get this, Maddie, what's going on, Maddie?
Hey, Steven, how are you doing, brother? Nice to be here. Sorry for coming late. With a time shift, sometimes it's a little tough to coordinate.
Nah, man, no problem at all. I appreciate you coming here. So, all right.
First of all, I wanted to say what you're trying to do here, I think, is a great approach. I think it's really important that we're building something that is a little different to the regular crypto let's dump on each other idea. And I'm absolutely down also with the idea of not being maxis in our own space neither, but more like have this mindset concerning DeFi generally, not just Atropa, but having this mindset in investment. And I feel like it's something really important to not be so fanatic. There's all this fanatism that we have in our, say, post-chain community. It has gone a little bit out of hand, and I'm really happy that there's people that are more rational and see this whole thing in a picture of like, we can grow together, we can make this work together without bitching at each other if stuff's not all right. Because yeah, red candles create bad vibes, but that's where a community shows its strength, right there in bad moments. So I feel like, at least from what I'm seeing in this community here, there's been a couple of people hating on PLUSD. And I'll be honest with you, I don't understand why now we have to hate on other communities. It'd be like PDI, only PDI. It's the same mentality than before. So I appreciate what you're doing, brother, with having your mind open to other projects, to other builders. Also, Tangang, you did that too. And other people were like, oh, how can you? You're a traitor. And I'm like, what are you talking about? We're not in a political party here, but we're in a community where people are building. So yeah, again, I feel like it's something that we all should stand behind, is common growth and use our brain power combined to make this world a better place, not a place where we just eat off each other's back, dump on each other, and do nothing different than big companies. So far to me.
And I think that perspective of not being a maxi as well is it has required a lot of effort for this particular community, because we have come from the Hex ecosystem where we really had to be maxis. We were really protecting the fort because it was really us as Hexicans against literally everyone. The entire cryptocurrency world and all of media was like, they just fudded the shit out of Hex. So we really like became fortified around that notion. So we've had to kind of dissolve that fixed mindedness, and I think we can still have that but expand outwards. So still take those ethoses of what Richard was trying to teach us, take that mentality of what Hex actually is, but expand it outwards. So if we're a maxi even to the Atropa ecosystem, again, you're shutting yourself off to the rest of the world. The world is going to be a multi-chain ecosystem. We're connected to Ethereum. We got good connections. We're starting to develop connections to base chain. We got I think TUSD now. There's a big connection with Binance. So there's connections with lots of different chains already through Pulse Chain. So if we can present ourselves as less maxi and more open-minded, it's going to encourage other people to want to come and participate, because they're going to feel like their perspective is accepted, and they're going to feel like what they have can be accepted into Pulse Chain. And I think, like, for me, that's such a big part of what this movement is, I feel.
Very nicely said, brother. You said you're wanted to look at a chart example, but in any case, yeah, I'm just saying it's exactly what I talked about with Corey these days. We need more bridges and more people that are shaking hands than people who want to be right. You know, it's great for you if you want to be right, but you can't really buy yourself something from it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's more important sometimes to be diplomatic and to be tolerant than just be like, look, I was the one who told you. And I feel like we all have this kind of like egotistical tendencies, and it's way more important to understand that we're not better because we downgrade somebody else. And that's what I wanted to close in. Thanks for the voice.
Yep. Great statements there, Maddie. Completely agree. So, okay, I'll go through some of these comments. Yes. So we'll just address some of these. So Rod, that's correct. So Maria Rahel, but just call it Maria. So sometimes people say James, sometimes people say Maria, but just I think he prefers to be Maria. Yes, thank you. KSBTV, share this stream out. I love this. The system needs this. Together we are stronger, and a positive movement towards growth is necessary. Again, it's about the wavelength that we're projecting out into the world, where the vibration of the world lifts, and the ones that have this kind of mindset will naturally be attracted to this naturally. So we just keep putting this energy out, and it's going to keep coming back into us in positive ways, and it's going to come back. It's not just about the Atropa ecosystem. It's about everything that's happening on Pulse Chain, and really projecting that positivity out to all of Pulse Chain, because we have such a fantastic community here. I don't want to focus on all the stuff that happens on Twitter. I just want to focus on the positives. Rags to riches. Good to see you here, man. Very good to see you. So, yeah, this is another one. Totally agree here. Sunny's A1A rewarder ecosystem, hard, everything. It's all being slept on. It's it's math. Yes, that's definitely one of Sunny's one of Sunny's calling cards right there.
Definitely all math. Math's doing good.
That's it, man. And I think the math here, this is the thing. I think this is what I'm feeling. We have the math behind us here. Now we just need the community and the right mindset that's actually going to that can take that math and project it out into exponential growth. It will do it on its own, but
it will. And we're speeding it along a lot. I don't know if you want to take 30 seconds and just look at something real quick, but I can show you an example of something kind of cool of just what's going on in the background, right? So like, if we understand the fork, right? Everything was forked, the tokens and the LPs. So a lot of the LPs, they're still running on that side, right? So I'll do this with you. Pull up a deck screener. Everyone listening can do whatever too. Type in, go to the search and do RENBTC, RENBTC. So we look, we see on ETH, it's copied, it's got liquidity, right? It's running. So scroll all the way down and then just up a little bit until you find the RENBTC with USDC at $248. So let me look. I don't even have the screen. Yeah, that one.
Okay, on Uniswap.
Right. So this is a Uniswap forked LP, right? This isn't available for trade versus Pulse right now. It's only in the Uniswap pools. No one's extracted it and given it life yet. So because of the way all this works in the background, this on Ethereum is paired with wrapped BTC, and several other BTC copies, right? They have several pegs over there. So this, without us trading it, without us doing anything, you can see there's less than $1 in liquidity. It's just running in the background because that's what it does. It's basically, I mean, it's a little bit high right now because there's not liquidity to trade it, but it's basically pegged to wrap BTC. Right? So with no interference from us, everything that runs the way it should is running the way it should. Now,
Okay.
If someone goes and extracts that, right, we go use the Uniswap front end, we go buy that token, we bring it over to Pulse, and we allow the general public to do it, we'll start pushing that price up, but we'll basically just give it liquidity, and it'll come back to whatever wrap BTC is, because that's the biggest liquidity pool right now for it.
Okay. So even with the volume in it, it will still gravitate towards the price of wrapped BTC.
Right, because you can see, what is there? It's got 10 in liquidity, which is a 0.04 and 3,000 USDC, right? And that's our copied USDC worth $10, right? So it's still running on the PRC parity there. Actually, if you click on that screen and do verse USD, you can see how close we are to actual parity.
Okay. All right. So this pooled USDC is the forked USDC.
Correct.
Interesting.
So originally this pool would have had maybe, 2 or 3 Ren BTC and, $100,000 or whatever, right? And now because it's being arbitraged, but they're not actually buying it for the price, right? They're just taking the price discrepancies. It's flipped that around, and it's in stay with what we're doing with those coins on the outside, and we're not even trading Ren BTC. Just a cool little example.
So okay, I see. So when you say we, just people who are creating these pools on the Ethereum side.
No, on the Pulse side, like Ren BTC, you're looking at it right now. It's on Pulse Chain. It's in a Pulse Chain pair and it's trading, right? But you can't trade it.
Ah, okay. Pulse Chain, but it says Uniswap.
Right.
It's the fork Uniswap, Stephen? There was a fork of Uniswap too, and that's what Sunny's talking about. All of these pools are Uniswap forked pools from ETH that already were there before the fork happened, and they're getting arbitraged heavily. And it's like the machine that he's describing is just working in the background.
Right. None of us made that pool. None of us are trading that pool. It's just the bots arbitraging it off liquidity that was forked over, because the liquidity pools are all there too.
So all the liquidity pools were forked over as well. I had no idea.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah. So if you go to the left side of your deck screener and scroll down, so it gives you like the general overall Pulse chain.
Oh,
we're down there. Oh, baby, we're down there. No. Yeah. That
one from the bottom.
And then
okay.
Up on the top, click on that Uniswap tab.
Wow.
So
Alpha right
at,
here.
At the 24-hour, we got $200,000 in volume going through the Uniswap pairs.
Wow. Wow.
You can see that liquidity over there too. Now, a few people have gone over there and made their front ends and built stuff. So like a couple of these are newer or added onto, but for the most part, what you're seeing is like USDC and DAI, wrap BTC WETH. Like most of these pairs, they're just forked copies. No one's made these since launch.
Okay, so with what you're explaining here now, so these forked, let's just say this one here, LUSD and wrapped Ethereum. So there'd be an LUSD and wrapped Ethereum on the Ethereum Uniswap side, right? So is there any arbitrage bots or anything that happens between the Pulse Chain pool and the Ethereum pool?
No, because it's a forked copy. It's worth way less.
Man. That's where a lot of this stuff just didn't make any sense to me before. But I had no idea that the liquidity pools also got forked across. Holy shit.
Yeah, so like that first one, click on that LUSD WETH one. We'll look and see, and it should have been made like a year and 5 days ago or whatever it is now is opening day.
Wow. Okay, where's
So
the
that one
where's the date?
says it was made 25 days ago. So someone actually went over and made that one, and they're taking advantage of using the Uniswap front end versus the PulseX front end.
Wow.
So they're actually, that's probably just, if you look at holders, I bet you it's probably just one holder, and he's killing it, right? Because he's putting 140,000 volume through that thing.
Holders, where's the, can you see holders on this one?
Do pairs and then press that little LP button just to the right. Yep.
All right, so that okay, so this is going to take us.
Yeah, good old Paul Skinner.
Let's have a
But
look.
yeah,
So
this one in particular someone made, but if we go back and do like a USDT, USDC one, or just like one of those kind of random ones, if you look at the creation date, most of them are 1 year, 5 days ago or whatever our first launch was, and that's just the first time that they lit up. So that's when Deck Screener sees the first volume in it.
Okay. Man, thank you for that, Sonny. I actually I didn't know the liquidity pools got forked as well. That's why there's a lot of the times where, like, probably you've even explained things to me, it wasn't clicking because it's like, I don't understand how this happens across chains. Now it all makes sense. Okay, so now we're going to see the holders here. Just out of curiosity, I think we have to go to...
And you know, there's something to be said too about project owners that have unlocked liquidity over there. They also still hold that unlocked liquidity over here. Whereas
right,
be burned, right? But like there are people with liquidity positions for sure. And I'm sure there were some whales that had a few of those positions, just doing stable coins or whatever with $1 million, and who knows what they might have over here, but they do still have it.
Gotcha. Sure. And that I mean, that can go both ways, right? It could be a positive thing where they actually look at, oh, wow, I can now move over to Pulse Chain. I've got all this liquidity over here now all of a sudden. Or it can also be a negative thing where they extract liquidity out of it and go, well, I'm just going to take it and run. And that's where I think, again, if we nurture an atmosphere where it's like welcoming and there's so many benefits for you to actually stay over here, they might actually migrate their other liquidity into the ecosystem as well. So it can go both ways.
On the LP copies, I think if your LP is big enough over here for the copy that you had that much on Ethereum, then you understand the LP game, and that's probably why you had $1 million in an LP, right? So like if they came over and saw that and looked at it and maybe didn't sell it, or came back and looked at it 2 months later and said, holy shit, this thing was worth 100, then it was 5,000, now it's 50,000, like they might actually start looking at what's going on over here, and that would possibly bridge over someone that does LP providing on Ethereum.
I mean, that's kind of part of the parity of the PRC20 is the whole idea of creating like a huge influx of the people on the ETH side. And obviously then being able to really pair, there would be an arbitrage possibility. What you were talking about earlier, Stephen, no? Do like cross-chain arbitrage. That would only function if it would be parity. And the parity would slightly have a difference one, and then there would be arbitrage that would happen from a scenario.
Right. Okay. So I want to just explain this concept about the long-term mindset as well, and I might butcher it a little bit, but going to the 8K BFF, for example, right? So if I go to any chart on most chains, I mean, we have this on Pulse Chain too, right? And I'm dabbling on base chain, and I got in on this, and it rugged. So I've lost out on this one. I think I just sold this morning, so it's gone down to whatever 4.8K market cap. So if you consistently see chains like this, okay, there's going to be one dude or however many people up here that actually won. So let's say there's 100 people in here, and there's going to be like 2 or 3 people that won. They extracted all the liquidity out, and they made, let's have a look at the market cap. So with the market cap, they took it all out here. So this was, I think, yeah, my buy was around here. So because I try and follow that momentum, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. In this case, it didn't. So then there would have been sellers around these regions, right? So however many holders there were, let's say there was a couple of hundred, and then maybe like 5% actually got all the liquidity out of this. That was at a market cap of max 200K. So they wouldn't have made any more than 200K, for example. They wouldn't have been able to take that all out anyway. Now, if their mindset is different and they don't extract, and it's in, for example, the Atropa ecosystem where things keep going up, price keeps going up. Yep, we're going to have pullbacks, everything like this, ratio trading keeps going up. Let's zoom out because, I mean, these are some of the charts that we're seeing now. Zoom out. And then let's go up to the millis because millis are always fun. And then it's going to keep going, right? The Atropa ecosystem will keep going because of the way that it's designed. Now, these people that extracted all this liquidity out here, let's just say the max that they got might have been like 50K because of the amount of tokens that they would have had. If they're participating in an ecosystem like this, instead of destroying all of their token supply here and say, I'm going to take out 100% of my token supply and I'm going to get 50K here, the mindset shift is, I'm going to take only 10K here, another 10K here, another 10K here, another 10K here. So I've taken out, and then we keep going up, another 10K here. So I've taken out my 50K, and I've probably still got of my supply, I might have only sold like 20% of my supply as I've gone up. So I've still got another 80% of the supply for continued sustainable growth as a price chart continues to go up. So this is, yeah, I mean, okay, it looks a little bit crazy there, but that's the kind of future that I see with the Atropa ecosystem. That's the kind of mentality that I feel like if we nurture that idea of, I mean, this is one of the things that the Tangang is so good at. They really educate people on how to take profit properly, go into V3 liquidity, just do single-sided staking. So basically, again, they're removing themselves as that sell pressure. It just becomes buy pressure. So if everybody within the Atropa ecosystem starts having this mentality, then we're not going to see things like this. We're going to see something different. We're going to see get to 8K, and instead of, I need to quickly sell. And I remember at the time, James was saying like, or Maria was saying, buy one, sell one. But I don't know who was selling. Maybe there was people that were selling a lot more. But then obviously, Maria now has Zach put out that excellent tweet. Just under 2.4 million in liquidity was going to be locked up in here. But we haven't gotten back to that 8K stage. Because what do I see here? The chart is just human emotion shown. So it gets up to 8K, just under 8K. Everyone tries to front run each other. And then all these people that missed out, damn, this is the lack mindset. Damn, I didn't get to sell at 8K, so it quickly got up to 8K. Quick, sell. And then sell. All these people that missed out selling here, sold here. That's the lacking mindset. That's not an abundant mindset. That's a mindset that is trying to front run everybody, be greedy, take what I can out of it. Maybe it's not. Maybe it was just people selling one, and this is what it happened to do to the chart. But we didn't even get to the 8K for Maria to actually put all that liquidity. So then what happens when the liquidity gets put into there? The charts get a lot thicker. So obviously here at the moment, it's gone up so fast because the liquidity was so thin. The liquidity at the moment is only 12K. So everyone's like competing against each other. There's still this PvP mindset. But if we did get to here, we stabilized here. Maria says, okay, we've done it. We're here at 8K. Now where can it go? And people are saying, I saw someone in the comments saying something about the 8K. Oh, here we go. 8K narrative sounds like 2021 Moonboy math for some shitcoin dog token to $1. Well, yes and no. I mean, we did actually get to 8K. So we got there with the liquidity setup. So it was designed to be thin so it could get there fast. And then it will get thickened up. So the benevolence of the dev is actually locking up 2.4 million liquidity here. But why would the dev lock up? Why would Maria put 2.4 million in liquidity here if everyone's just going to extract out of it? Nobody deserves it. Nobody deserves to extract that money out of the ecosystem like that because we're all just a bunch of greedy little jeets that want to get the most liquidity out of it. So again, it's all about shifting that mindset and going, okay, all right, what if I only just take out a little bit? I just take out a little bit of dollar value. I don't have to take it all out. In the end, this is going to keep going up. We're looking at, I think some people have thrown around, my boy Zaki Boo, he's thrown around like $1 million figures for BFF. Like, okay, that's gone up to 12, but why not? Why not? There's only 777 supply. If it's locked up and it keeps getting arbitraged and keeps going up gently with the rest of the Atropa ecosystem, with the rest of Pulse Chain, why not? We're talking long term here. Everyone's thinking short term, 8K, got to get it out now. We're thinking long term, the long term delayed gratitude mindset. What's this going to look like in the next bull run? Can we get to 1 million by the next bull run? Can we get to 1 million within this bull run? Who really knows? These are the kinds of things that I'd love to try and nurture. The Tangang have a website where you go there, they teach each other, and this is what you do. We don't really have anything like that in the Atropa ecosystem. That's what this is all about, the Atropa movement, really trying to bring us all together to really start to develop that kind of a mindset. So I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't even know if it's a worthy idea. At the moment, it's just speculation and trying something. So yeah, I don't know if you guys want to add to that in any way.
Well, I mean, if Sonny doesn't speak, then I would say, like, I think it's really important that we give, like, as much information to people that are interested in it, all of us that know more about it. Just not like as a shill thing, but more like, look, this is how it works. These are the layers. These are the pools. These are the tokens how they're connected. Like, give all the info, all the alpha that is there to the people that we know and that ask. I feel like it's something that's like consistent work. That's not just a one-day thing, but more like something that needs to be happening. And it is happening too. I mean, I'm looking at the Telegram stuff quite a lot to see how that goes. But generally, I think like what really attracts people is like a community that has no infighting, that has like a mentality that is open-minded and welcoming, and that also obviously has price performance that helps that people are interested to look into it and then see it's way more than just a meme coin narrative, or so to say, like a pumping stablecoin fork. You know what I'm saying? Like, the idea is first people see it and then feel what's really there.
And I feel like we're definitely making steps towards that. And like you said, it's going to be something that's like a long-term thing. So this is kind of, I mean, we're already doing it in a way, but this is now really trying to bring it to the forefront. And if people want to continue to develop out these ideas, this is how I'm going to be, this is how I'm going to behave. If you want to follow along, or if you have suggestions about a better way to behave or be and the kind of mindset that it should have, then by all means, if anyone wants to jump on the stream as well, the link is all the way up the top in the chat. It's open to anyone, so you can come and contribute in any way that you like, and that's the way that it should be. It shouldn't just be just because some people have got a YouTube channel that they get the say. Like, it's not like that. I'm not here telling anyone what to do. I want it to be something where let's put our minds together and actually develop this out. Because yeah, we got the results. I mean, how good is the ecosystem? Look how good it is, man. Look at all these pumps. Look at this trend line on PDAI, on DAI stable, DAI on Pulse Chain. Atropa pumping, Teddy Bear pumping. It's all pumping across the board. Again, TSFI is like flying at the moment. It's looking like it could break all-time high. BFF, again, we're heading towards that 8K, like we're halfway there. Mantissa, everything's pumping. Like, how good is this ecosystem down? It's such a phenomenal ecosystem, and it's going to keep doing this. I don't know how much buy volumes actually come into the ecosystem to generate these kinds of charts, but it doesn't even have to go. Some people have also been saying, basically, if everyone just buys DAI stablecoin, that is going to lift everything else up because of the way that it's all bonded together. I think Ben Popfin was saying that. So, and I've heard of a couple of other people talking like this as well. So I feel like we're definitely getting there. But it's just about being really conscious about what kind of vibe am I putting out? What kind of mind am I putting out into the world? Am I really, like, as soon as you see something negative and like, oh, you're an idiot, you don't understand this, or you're stupid, like straight away, that person's mind is going to close off and they're going to go, well, no, if you call me an idiot, then fuck you. I'm not an idiot. That's what their mind is saying. So they're just closed off to your messaging straight away. So there's a way to deliver the message that actually opens their heart and opens their mind up in the first place. And what is one of the best books, How to Win Friends and Influence People? There's so many, like, man, if you just follow that way of being with people, you can't not succeed. So accept the person. Okay, that's your perspective. I think maybe I see where you're coming from, but maybe you've missed this point about it. So for example, when bear, the bear to hex, there was, I think Maria was selling bear into hex, and then I saw Too Spooky saying that, oh, this is the Atropa dev, they're just dumping on everybody, and it was what, like a, I mean, where was that? I think it was like a, you know what, like a, let's have a look. It would have been, I think it would have been here, perhaps. So, okay, 60% dip.
When EHEX dumped, you know, Stephen, when EHEX dumped, that's when Maria bought EHEX with Teddy Bear.
Right.
That's what happened. Hex on Ethereum. Hex from Ethereum on Pulse Chain, to be precise, not EHEX.
That is a great point, actually, that it's all about, if you have that limited perspective of you're just looking at this thing, and the only reason why that kind of messaging would have been put out there is obviously to emphasize that, hey, that our ecosystem's better than yours, so we're going to highlight this one little thing here and look at it from a very limited perspective. But actually, I never even thought of it like that. From the one perspective, yeah, bear dipped, but on the other perspective, Hex was being saved. So was it a benevolent act or was it a malevolent act?
It was. Sorry, Sonny, go ahead, please.
No, I was going to say, I'll hit on that because this goes to the guy in the comments here that keeps saying, you know, why did you jump math and all this stuff, right? So, like, people get caught up in this thing, right? He's been following me for 2 weeks everywhere I go, being, you sold math, you sold math, you sold math, right? First off, the dev wallet swapped math. Second off, if you buy a token where the dev owns 99% of it and is actively selling it from launch, I'm going to recommend not buying it. But it's you know, people get in that negative mindset, and I've explained to them several times that the math token is nothing but a liquidity builder for the entire ecosystem, as the PLP token is as well, the one that holds like 32 tokens in it. It's a bond, basically, right? So the PLP token is a bond. You can make it with the tokens, and it's reflective of the value of the ecosystem. If it's worth more, you can just buy the token and unwrap it and sell the tokens and actually make money, or you can go the other way. But it's meant to go the other way so that you buy 32 tokens, LP them 16 times together to get the final one to sell it and make your profit. And that makes that LP token bigger because you've minted more of that token. There's actually more supply there. So it's building the liquidity of the entire ecosystem in one spot. And then math is paired to it and everything else in the ecosystem. I actually just reverse engineered the whole thing and then made math so that math can move money from anywhere in the ecosystem to anywhere else. So if something falls down, it can just pick it up.
Also, you've never ever told anyone, and you've even said, I don't want people to buy this token. I've heard you say those kinds of things multiple times. You're not out there saying, hey, everybody come and buy this token, and then secretly I'm going to sell on you later. Like, you've never said to buy the token. You've actually encouraged people not to buy these tokens sometimes as well. I've noticed that. So again, yeah, people need to think broader than just that little CNN soundbite clip. It's very easy to look at a bit of something and see from your own perspective what you want to extract from it, but look at the bigger picture. That's what I want to encourage people to do. And
you're right. I don't go around shilling. It's not what I want to do. I don't want memes. I don't want big, huge performance tokens. I've made literally everything in my ecosystem to support PRC20s, and if they don't support PRC20s, the stuff that's paired with the Atropa, it's literally for volume, right? It pulls more money into the ecosystem. So when you look at like a WXRP, right? I think WXRP and Doge, I haven't checked in a minute, but A1A was one of the very first liquidity providers for that in burn liquidity, you know, like the original pools. And because of A1A, the way it works, and the reflections going back into LPs as well and building those LPs, it's still the top holder of most of those coins. So a lot of these PRC20s that have top holder A1A LP, all that LP is burned, and those tokens have exit liquidity for the airdrop and an actual chart that's moving forever. Like that's how I build, right? I create charts.
Math and charts. Two words that'll forever be synonymous with you in this pulse chain. Matty, you were going to say something earlier as well?
I was just saying that I thought that what Maria was very benevolent, the eHex thing, because I mean, that's very interesting that there's going to be a bonding with eHex. So say hex from Ethereum with a Atropa system, and that's nothing at all bad. I don't know where people were hating on him for that one. They clearly did not understand any motives behind it. They were saying, oh, he's dumping teddy bear. But not again having any long-term perspective on what's really happening. It's just, I mean, that's kind of the problem we're talking about here all the time. It's just people have a very short-minded, short-term perspective, and then, so to say, don't appreciate the idea of having something that's building up bit by bit, but just want the thing that explodes to the moon by tomorrow. The kind of quick gratification me thing, which works too. But it's just way more gambling. It's not really like it's tech. It's just pure gambling. I'm not against it if you want to do it. I'm personally doing it with some small part of the portfolio, no? But like the idea is more like to have something that's real. And what Maria did with eHex was, I think, a really brilliant move. So anybody who's hating on that, I don't really get it.
And again, it's, yeah, the totality, the bigger picture. There's actually, so we'll use independence for example here. So let's bring up independence. There's just this. That's another beautiful thing about this. At the start, I was very overwhelmed by the amount of tokens. This one here, right? But can we get it? Yeah, no, we'll get it to Pulse Chain because it's always better to compare everything to Pulse Chain. So at first, I was overwhelmed by the amount of tokens in the ecosystem. But an abundant mindset is there's forever going to be new opportunities in the Atropa ecosystem. Maria said in the Zurich meeting with KSBTV that basically described it as this planet, the Atropa ecosystem as this planet, and that you could plug into the planet. I'm butchering the words, but that really clicked. So there's all this web of tokens, and then, yeah, you might not be a day one Atropa holder, but you could be a day one independence holder, and then that gets bonded to the Atropa ecosystem, and they're all working together. And then, okay, you come in a year later, and there's another new token that's released on that day. And you then have the opportunity to get into a chart like this. You have the opportunity where you can find a chart that's going to do this, and you're going to have your own gains. I think, especially now with memes, this is why the meme culture is so big, because everybody, like, I don't own any Bitcoin actually, and I don't encourage anyone that I onboard into cryptocurrency to get it unless they're the ones that there's a perception of Bitcoin being a safer asset because it's more globally adopted, more globally accepted. But from my perspective, I actually think it's more risky because of the S-curve adoption that Richard always talks about. I don't, whether it gets to 1 million or not, I'm not sure, but I want my friends that I onboard to be able to have the opportunities that I had with Hex, for example, where you get in on day one and it does a 10,000x. I mean, that's an anomaly. They're very rare things, but that's what people actually want. That's why memes are so big. It's not about, oh, I'm buying this dog because it's hilarious, and this meme that I saw on Twitter is so funny, and that's why I'm buying it. It's not about that. I mean, it can be about that as well, but it's about the fact that I can get into something with a low market cap, and it can go massive, and I can make big gains. So with this web, with this planet, this Atropa planet, that new tokens are constantly being plugged into, every new person forever can have the opportunities that we've had now. And then the next layer of people will have a new series of opportunities. And then the next layer of people will have a new series of opportunities. So it's this abundance, and everybody keeps getting lifted up together. And again, the downside pressure is mitigated by the design of the ecosystem. And even Hex, what we were talking about with Hex. I see Hex now. eHex is probably going to start doing things like this. Once there's still going to be more sell pressure because people probably don't even know what the Atropa ecosystem is. They don't even know, and even myself, I'm still learning. So they're not going to have the conviction that, oh, this is actually going to get potentially saved. But I'm looking at this when I saw that, I was like, oh, goated. This is brilliant. This is going to be the best thing for Hex because it's also going to open up people's mindsets who are very fixed on just Hex. And there's nothing wrong with that. There really is nothing wrong with that. If that's your strategy, I actually genuinely hope that you come out higher than I do with the 15-year stakes. I really do, because to have that kind of devotion towards the long-term gratification is very respect-worthy. But just to open yourself up to what's actually happening here is the gold. And so there's always going to be forever opportunities within this ecosystem. So this is just one of many examples that continue to be produced within the Atropa ecosystem. So again, emphasizing the Atropa movement. This is a movement. It's a paradigm shift. It's a consciousness shift. So yes, again, anyone who wants to join the chat, please do. The link is all the way at the top of the chat. I don't know if I can actually just quickly share it again. Yeah, it's all the way at the top of the chat anyway. So just scroll up to the top of the chat and it'll be there. It's open for anyone. So just to continue this discussion as well, guys, while we're here and even in the chat, whatever you guys want to add to this, how do you think that we can go about not pushing the idea, but nurturing the idea? So Maddie, you just said just consistently putting the idea there. Again, if we use the Tangang, they've got that Grove website where it's all there on the website. We don't really have that with Atropa. There is no centralized point where it's like, okay, let's all do this. What do you guys think? I mean, we've got Sonny's Pub as well, which nurtures that kind of atmosphere. Do you have any suggestions about how it can be nurtured, how it can be developed? Does it need like a central point to say, okay, this is what the movement is all about? Or do we just keep doing what we're doing and just keep talking like we're talking, and eventually more and more people will just switch on to the idea? What do you guys think about that?
I think it's an ambivalent thing, because like if you listen to what Maria said, he said Atropa like it is something that's like made for devs to really understand. So I guess like he's not made the system to get like a mainstream adoption from, like, let's say, having a marketing strategy that's very obvious. Like, I mean, Teddy Bear is kind of his marketing strategy in combination with like peck a dollar. You know what I'm saying? Like if you talk about narratives. But reality is having like a centralized Atropa website. I mean, the real thing is that obviously Teddy Bear, there is a website and it's made by the community. And I feel like if Maria would hate on it, it obviously wouldn't be accepted. But as long as people build websites and he agrees on it, and I don't think like it's a bad thing to have some hub where you can get all the info easily without having to look like 3 hours in YouTube or in Twitter, you know? I'm agreeing on that idea. That would be good to have something like a centralized database that is like pretty wide and goes from like simple to like advanced. You know what I'm saying? So people that just want to get like basic in the layer 1, so to say, in the easier stuff, and if they want to get deeper, that they have all the info there. But in the rest, it's like, yeah, like I said, I mean, it's also the work on Telegram where you can have bots answering, or you can have people have more knowledge taking the time and be like, I do this for the community because it makes it grow. And I feel like that is something necessary to put in the hard work too, of like explaining people, not being annoyed that people come in and is like, what is Atropa? And be like, oh, you're in the wrong group. That doesn't really help, you know? So I would be like, it's good to put the work in and have a database. Not a bad thing to have. Perhaps like something like a website that actually has a better structure of data about Atropa and its tokens. I would not think it's a bad idea to have, like, for example, like the TM layer, have the BFF layer, have all of that like split apart into like in one thing where you can actually easily have it linked to, let's say, Pulse X or Peteus or whatever, so you can see the pair. You know what I'm saying? Not a bad thing. A little bit easier for people to actually get into these tokens, because I feel like something that's really difficult, I don't know if Sunny's agreeing, is for a noob to get some tokens inside of the Atropa system. So perhaps there's a way of making that a little bit easier, just explaining it, so to say, easier. Yeah, that's for me.
No,
Okay, before I answer, Sonny.
Yeah, I agree. It's hard to get people just to the Atropa coin itself, right? It's hard to get people on Pulse Chain, and I know everybody wants green candles. I know everyone wants onboarding and money and blah blah blah, but like, I don't like. 414 has expressed they don't want a website. They don't want any of that stuff, right? And when I had the opportunity to sit down and speak with 414 in person, it's building something to be built on top of. And if you look at a token like No Nukes or Leprosy, like Leprosy is actually a great example. It's got a whole, I think it has 12 or 13 coins on it. And almost every one of those coins still has 99% in liquidity with Leprosy. And I think Leprosy is probably piggybacked off either No Nukes or BFF or something. It was connected in there somewhere, right? But the same way you build on Pulse versus Pulse in your liquidity, because you think Pulse is going to go up, people can choose to build on top of Atropa and not have Pulse pairs, right? And then you just ride the price performance of something like No Nukes or Leprosy. And being in that is on top of, Pulse already, you are multiplying that X factor. But it would take others to build and grow on top of it and really teach those people that are getting into that new token how to get in. Would I don't know, maybe be the easiest way. There's no easy way.
I think you both basically answered the question as you were answering it. I was like, yeah, of course there shouldn't really be some centralized point. It's not. It's one of the things that 414 has been adamant about from the start. There's no website, there's nothing like this, and it actually forces people to engage and learn in a way that he even mentioned in the Zurich meetup that it's very elite. So it's not just going to be, and I think this is very specifically because meme coins attract a certain kind of audience that want to just quickly extract and take out the liquidity and then just run. And so he wants to like avoid that within this ecosystem. So I like that. But having said that, my mind is always like, I want to help as many people as possible. So there's this kind of like internal torment. But on that, I want to just very, very simply, because people quite often DM me and ask me some of the most basic questions. If I don't think you can do this on the phone, but on your computer, if you've got a computer, it's actually so easy just to go, for example, like if you go to my channel, I can only speak for myself. This is not a shill for my channel, but I'm sure you'll be able to do this on others. But because I deliberately put subtitles in there, you can just type like maybe in here, like, oh, what is No Nukes? Someone might ask me, what is No Nukes? And here we go. There'll be something in here there'll be something in there that talks about No Nukes. So if you type in the search there, or what is Atropa, and it will come up with all the things, or how do I do liquidity providing for V3 or V2 rather, liquidity providing for V2, and there'll be things that pop up, how to provide liquidity with the Atropa tokens. Yes, you can also do the search function on here, but don't underestimate the power of the search function. But also, even as a very basic thing, like a very basic, when you ask someone specifically for the answer, you're putting out like a certain type of vibration of how could I describe it? It's like a lack. It's like a helpless kind of vibe. When you take control of your mind and you actually learn for yourself what's going on here, in the long run, that's going to be better for you. I can tell you the answer, but what's that going to do? You're not going to understand what you're getting yourself into. So you might, in the short term, make a small little gain, but I want you to make a long-term gain by actually understanding this and participating in this in a positive way. Use the search function. It's so simple. Even the search function in Telegram. Go to the chat on the Atropa chat or BFF chat or something. And before you even ask the question, everyone always asks the question first because I want the answer now. I don't want to do any work. I want it now so I can quickly act on this greed impulse that's coming up. But take your time, be calm, search in there. Oh, what's BFF all about? See if you can find it for yourself. Even developing those mental habits, it's actually going to benefit you in every aspect of your life, because you're going to learn how to take responsibility for your mind, and you're going to learn how to actually learn. And this, again, going back to I did a millionaire's mindset video the other day, the growth mindset. Richard is all about teaching yourself and learning, like really adopting some of these mindsets of these people who are successful. If you think that I'm just going to be in crypto, and there's so many stories where people have been in 3 cycles and they still haven't made it. I'm like, how is that even possible? How's that even possible? So yeah, really trying to help people help themselves, and then they'll be the ones that can be the custodians of this and build in this. So yeah, I'll just give that little tip there. And again, even like, okay, what is Atropa? Because I quite often talk about this a lot. So, and I always say it's in the description. So I'm not gonna actually play the video. So everything you need is in the description. I've even put everything there. The website for the charting that I used, a write up on it, the contract addresses, Steady Pups maps. So here we go. Let's see if we can Steady Pups maps with the leprosy. Go Real DeFi, all the different kinds of channels that you can go to learn more about it. DJ Khaled, Crypto Neptune, The Verse, KSBTV interview. Like, everything's already there to help you help yourself. So I would definitely prefer to help you learn how to do that rather than just directly answering the questions. And I also feel like, as this continues to grow, which in my opinion, it's an inevitability, I'm going to get more and more of those types of questions. And I don't want to be rude. I really do want to help everyone, but I'm going to get to a point where I'm going to have to stop answering those types of questions. So yeah, PLS up.
Let me add on that real quick. One, I didn't know we could search YouTube like that. That's awesome. Thank you for teaching me that. And two, what he says about, just searching, a simple search, man. Like, I get it all day, every day. And if you come to people that, a lot of people, they feel they're entitled, and, they're not. So go search something. And then if you don't understand it, say, hey, I searched it. I found this. Could you elaborate? Man, I'll probably spend an hour with you. But if you just walk right up and say, hey, what's this? And don't say please, or can you do this? It's like, it's not worth the time.
Right. Exactly. They're projecting a certain kind of helplessness, and it's like, that investing any time into that person is really just wasted, because it's just going to go in one ear and out the other. They're not going to learn anything. So what value does that bring to them and to you?
I mean, it's also important to notice that James, or Maria, or however you want to call him, he's a cyberpunk. He's not like a mainstream crypto hype guy. I mean, what I'm trying to say is like that he made the system complex to understand. For outsiders is kind of the whole idea behind it. It's not like you just come there and you're like, oh, now I know what Atropa is, so I know the other 250 tokens. It's more like, if you really want to go deep, you can. But if not, just buy Teddy Bear or P-Dive. If you're just in for it, so to say, for the being part of it without really understanding it, there's the easy access. And then there's the thing that's called being dedicated to getting informed. If you try to invest in the system, you have to spend hours in teaching yourself. If not, you're just betting on stuff you have no idea what it is. I mean, like, that's what I'm agreeing on. You have to put the effort in this if you want to go deep. It's not like you can just watch 5 minutes of a video and you understand it. It's more like you have to spend a really pretty long amount of hours in that, and even then,
and on top of that, not only do you have to do that, but you have to go and just do it. You have to go put your penny into an LP and just experience it, and that's what a lot of people lack.
Bingo. Yes, learn it, and because I think everybody, and again, that comes from a lack mindset. I want. What's going to be the best token to buy that I can make the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time? Now, there is no direct answer to that. What's the best liquidity pool that I can put in right now that in 6 months' time I'm going to have like double? Yeah, There's no real answer to that except really learn. Like put
The
the
way that I
$10.
taught everyone that was to take our copied PWETH and wrap PLS. I said take 100 tokens of each, pair them together. Almost every single person like that I used to trade with in BSC, and they came over and was like, "Yo, you're doing stuff. What's going on?" I was like, "Do this." Every one of them, they just like were like, "Yo, that's like a penny," and I haven't heard from them since. And it's just like, it's not about the dollar, right? It's about that knowledge. Because if you'd have done that 9 months ago and realized you put 200 pulse in there, and now you have 250, you'd have been like, "Oh wait, I could have done this with the same amount, times it by 10 or 100 or 1,000, and it's the same exact number on the outside."
Bingo. And if you come from a lack of understanding as well, this is where the chart, just look at the ecosystem while pulse is down, right? I'm just going to use this. Let's zoom in a little. Let's just say if you come from a lack of understanding about what this ecosystem is, and this is what happened with MV, for example. People didn't really know what it was. They didn't research. They just heard, I think maybe Moon King talked about it, and everybody bought it, right? So if you come in here and you're like, "Oh, independence, awesome, I'm going to buy independence because everybody's talking about it. I don't know nothing about the Atropa ecosystem. Oh, but then it's gone down. Oh, shit, I've lost 50%. Okay, I'm going to sell out." But you didn't know that it was liquidity bonded. You didn't know that it was going to continue to do this over a long period of time. I mean, this is all buy pressure, but you didn't see this picture. So you actually, the lack of education ends up harming you. So again, like even the people who like are trying to help you to learn for yourself are doing it for your benefit. It's not just to be a dick and they don't want to help you. Like most people want to help you, but you have to be willing to help yourself as well. It's just a principle of the universe. Like God, the universe will help you if you put your hand out first. You can't just expect the universe to do everything for you. Like manifesting, people think, "Oh, I'm just going to sit here. I'm just going to sit in a cave all day and I'm going to manifest $1 million. Like how ridiculous does that sound? How the fuck are you ever going to get $1 million by sitting down and doing nothing? You actually have to put your energy into the world so the energy can come back to you. It's the same thing with like helping yourself. You got to be able to help yourself, and then the world will help you back. Okay, so yeah, this has actually been like a good conversation so far. So PLS Pup, so again, all these extra resources. PLS Pup does awesome liquidity maps, just bit by bit, piece all the puzzles together, understanding what this is actually about, how you can participate in the ecosystem. I wanted to look for the leprosy one, but yeah, it'll be on there somewhere. So again, just use the search, start saving these things, start creating your own little files of the information that you want to keep in mind, and also maybe just focus on particular things as well. Like, there's the core ones, Bear, Die on Pulse Chain, Atropa. Start there, start with the core tokens, and then start expanding yourself out into, for example, independence, doing a little bit different things, start testing, start creating liquidity pools. Just like Sonny says, start with $10. And I have to thank you, Sonny, for that as well. Like I've learned so much about liquidity providing through you, and by doing it, you really encouraged to do it. So I listened, I started doing it. I had like 50 different pools and measuring and doing exactly what you said. Measure the market cap, measure the liquidity, measure the volume. At the time, it's like, why do I need to do this? I don't understand. But then after 2 months, this is why I was measuring the liquidity and the volume. Now it all makes sense. That's why this token gets me better yield than this one. Like by just doing it and recording it and doing it properly, you learn so much. And I'm so grateful to you for that, because now it's like this skill that I have, and I'm still learning, of course, but it's like it's such a precious skill. That passive income that you can learn from liquidity providing is just, man, the mindset shift is just beautiful. Not having to stare at charts, just leave it there, walk away. It's amazing. It's beautiful.
It's good, man. I'm glad you get it. You were one of the early ones that I tried to make sure that I was teaching, right? Because I know you have a voice, and I don't like to do this stuff, but you guys do. So I am glad. Just out of curiosity, do you have any that are positive on both sides?
I do. Yes, I do.
Those are fun, aren't they?
They're the best. I just keep adding into those ones. I'm like, man, these are so good. These are so good. So
like, wait, I have more on both sides, and it's worth 10 times as much.
I know. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, those are the ones that I'm totally
baby.
with. Impermanent gains. That's it, man. Impermanent gains. And hey, impermanent gains, ladies and gentlemen, again, if you want to learn about these things, you just, again, you can search. You can use the generic search here, or you can go within the person's actual, I'd have to spell it correctly, but yeah, you can just go within the person's channel. The unfortunate thing, again, you can't do this on the phone. So if you try to look for this function on the phone, it's not there for some reason. It only is on the computer. Because I've spelled impermanent wrong. But yeah, anyway, I showed this before. So impermanent gains. Here we go. It should come up. There you go. Providing liquidity and impermanent gains. So you can actually get an idea of what we're talking about here, because that was just another shift. Because again, everyone keeps talking about impermanent loss, but then you started talking about impermanent gains, and I was like, oh, I like that. It's putting a positive spin on this, and it actually is like that. Even for the pools where it's like, okay, well, I've started with 1,000 and 1,000, but then I've got only 800 here and then 1,300 here. So actually, if you take the 300 top that you had here, go back to the 1,000, trade that 300 back to this side, you'll find that on this side now you might have 1,100 or 1,200. So even though it looks like less, you've still got more because of the yield that you generated. There also is going to be pools where there's not enough volume flowing through it, so it ends up being like a losing pool. So it does have that. It doesn't matter which way it skews, you end up having less in there because there's not enough volume that goes through it. But those are such valuable things that you just need to learn, and to be able to learn that for like $5 or $10, man, it's a skill that you'll have in cryptocurrency for life. Like being a liquidity provider, you're being the bank, man. You're owning the casino.
And just for anyone listening that does want to try it out, No Nukes and Zizek are both pools that generally, so what it is No Nukes for sure, right? Like one No Nukes get minted at a time and it goes to the Atropa address. So the Atropa address either sells it into something else or adds it into liquidity. So all it's doing really is adding those tokens into liquidity. So you're just getting more and more and more of them. And it's never really hurting the price because it's paired out with so many things, right? So like, I think my No Nukes LP is probably one of my second biggest one now, maybe second or third. But I put in like 20 No Nukes and like 20 million pulse. And now it's like 22 No Nukes and like 200 million pulse. So like, I have more on both sides, and if I wanted to, you know, I could pull my initials out right now, pull out the 20 mil and 2, sell the 2, and that's my 40 mil back from my beginning, and I still have the equivalent of what 360 million pulse in there. Like it's a printer of an LP.
Yep. When you asked me if I've got any that are positive on both sides, that's the first one that jumped into my mind. That is my absolute favorite pool.
Right, and so then like, for people that are doing the Atropa thing, if you really start to look at No Nukes, you can pull it up in Dex Screener and start looking at all of its pairs, and it's paired out thick and in a lot of them. I'm pretty sure it's BFF's biggest pair.
Yeah.
And that makes it very easy for the 414 to take whatever people mint to that wallet from No Nukes and just pump whatever they want with No Nukes, or pair and make the liquidity thicker. But that's kind of like that's kind of like 414's forever printer, right? But we have to call the function. Another wallet has to call the function to mint it, and then they get it. Which obviously they could use another wallet and just do it, but it's benevolent in my opinion. So,
yep. Here we go. So here's some of the No Nukes. So here's another little tip. Okay, so first of all, S Diddy, thank you so much, man. That's my first super chat, and that's a huge super chat. So thank you, man. That's awesome. I really appreciate that. I wasn't expecting that today, but thank you so much. That is awesome. So yes, if anyone's got questions or anything, and like, yeah, I don't do like super chats for questions or anything like that, but it's absolutely 100% appreciated. So the No Nukes. So here's another little tip for if you're on Twitter. I bookmark my favorite things. So you press this little button here. So then I go to my bookmarks. I mean, you can also save these, but instead of going each time trying to go to PLS Pup's Twitter account and trying to find them, I just bookmark them and I just have to scroll down. So here's the No Nukes thing. So this is what we're talking about. So, well, I mean, here you go. You've got some ideas already. When you start looking at these, he numbers them in a way where that's the thickness of the pools. So we'll have more of like, yeah, that's the thickness of the pool. So this is the thickest discovery in no nukes. I'm quite surprised by that. Yeah, wow. Okay, so Naginata is the least thickest, quote unquote, but there's still going to be more in here. And I mean, just this is number 6, pulse chain to no nukes, and this is produced positive on both sides. So both sides of the liquidity pool are plus. So if you imagine that with no nukes in here, what's it going to be like with no nukes in discovery or no nukes in NBA? I mean, yeah, this is actually making me want to buy some more no nukes and just start adding more liquidity pools into here. So again, it's just that mindset shift. So that's another little tip for all of you out there. Anyone got any questions? So I'm a little bit behind on the chat. So if anyone's got any questions, it's been very engaged chat. So what's up? What's up? It's your boy, Crypto Kings. Oh, which one is it? Which one is it? Is that the Moon King or is it Ian? Feel free to jump on up, man. In all the way at the top of the chat. It's got here we go. I wish I could. At the very top of the chat, it's got the stream. So if anyone wants to jump in and contribute to this in any way whatsoever, please feel free to. So yeah. If anyone's got any questions, I'm just trying to down or Atropa right now. What's this in relation to? Everyone go give Steven some likes on his stream. Yes, thank you, Zachy Booze. And yeah, I mean, like, shout out to Zach. If you don't follow him on Twitter, like this is the caliber of people that I see within this ecosystem. When I see the quality of Zach's tweets, it's like the logic, the flow, the explanation, the evidence. It's so damn good. And this is the caliber of people that we have here in this ecosystem, like very, very intelligent people with very, very good hearts. Zachy Boo's, he's offered to fly me out to Thailand so we can get up to a bunch of mischief. So we're in discussions about that. I feel guilty about accepting that offer because it's so generous. But man, this is the quality of the people in this ecosystem, man. It's like there's so much love, so much love. So, hey, Coexistence Stephen, do you know how to? I do not. Maybe go ask in the chat. In the Atropa Telegram. So again, if you want to, all the resources will be on that What is Atropa YouTube, on my YouTube. Says invalid host name. That might be in relation to the IRC cloud.
I don't have the typing right now, but webchat.oftc.net will connect.
There you go. So whatever Sunny just said there, type that in. That'll connect you. And again, you can go to, you go to the Atropa Telegram and you do a search in the Atropa Telegram, how to access the IRC, or just however you would ask the question. Guaranteed somebody's already asked that question, and guaranteed probably dozens of people have asked that question. So the question will already be answered. So you're actually saving somebody else some time as well. So it's really like taking care of somebody else as well, because when you just come in there with that expectation that, oh, I've got this question and I want it to be answered. I'm not saying this against our next winder, but I'm just saying, like, in general, if you have that mentality, it's like people are more reluctant to want to help. So I'm kind of running out of things to say. I feel like we've covered a lot of the things that I wanted to talk about. Is there anything, Sunny, Maddie, that you guys want to say to kind of wrap this up? Is there anything, again, anyone else have any other questions in the chat before we wrap this up?
Oh, man, I appreciate you hosting spaces for the community and getting everybody together and spreading the knowledge, man. And appreciate everyone in the comments that shows some love, and there's always the haters out too.
There is. And just with that, I think it's an inevitability. The haters, I just look at it like physics. It's just physics. If you're putting love out, somewhere along the way, that vibration is hitting something that's negative, and then it's going to want to come back to counteract the positivity that you're putting out. I'm noticing a lot more negativity. I got this one guy who like, it's like, bro, if you disagree with everything I say, why the fuck are you watching my streams? Why are you like, he comments on like so many of my tweets with negativity, and it's like, just why even bother? I feel
this guy following me talking about selling math, right? Like, you can literally go look at the math chart and pull up the developer wallet, and you can see $230 worth of it getting sold and added to liquidity. Like, every single one of my coins gets swapped for other coins, and when that happens, it pays out rewards, right? So you just literally endlessly move these tokens in between themselves and pay out the holders. You can go back and forth all day long, and it does nothing. Like, there's another good one in here too. DBZen saying that I sold millions of dollars on A1A. Like, there's 40K in Lick. You can go to DBank and you can type in Sunny and you can see my wallet. My largest holding is A1A, 2.5% that I bought out of liquidity. To think that I would sell any of it now is ridiculous. I understand what I built, and I know what it's going to be in 5 or 10 years, along with the rest of my entire ecosystem. So I appreciate all those that took the chance to join it and learn the math and do it, because that's really all it is. It's not something to shill. It's not something that's going to do 100x tomorrow. It's simple math. And if you want to be a part of it, you're welcome to. And I appreciate all those that are.
Beautiful. Yep. Look at the bigger picture, guys. I mean, there's a lot of people doing a lot of good work, and I see so much criticism towards you, Sonny, and it really pisses me off, because I've only ever known you to be extremely generous and giving with your time. And I mean, you have a whole Telegram chat where you're literally like, you spend all day like answering people's questions. Is anybody else doing that? Are the people who are criticizing you doing that? So again, look at the bigger picture, guys. Look at the caliber of the people. Look at Sonny's nature, not this one action that you're gonna you get a magnifying glass in. And yeah, of course, it looks like that if you get a magnifying glass, but zoom out, what's actually happened, get an understanding of what he's actually doing, and then your mindset will shift. Okay, Sonny's actually a benevolent player, so let's just chill out on the negativity towards each other, because doesn't do anything, man, but it's always gonna happen, sadly.
And I get a lot of it as someone that's made coins and developed. People think that's how I make my money, right? But like, I don't trade my own coins. I put 5% of each one in Sunny's trees. I'm gonna plant trees with the rewards that it gives, right? I'll never even sell those tokens because those will print out rewards for life. I'll sell those rewards and turn them into trees, and I'll show all of you that. I have 2.5% wallets that are either mine. Like, I did 2.5. So I figure one's mine, one's whatever I want. Like, that little tiny payout is nothing, and I haven't taken any of it. And if you look at my other wallet, or you want to go on Twitter and see people like Too Spooky who found a way to say that I wrecked myself turning like 1,000 or 100,000 pulse, not even, into 1 billion pulse, while he was pumping cream. And he never even noticed. So like, I think I did a pretty good exit there to turn $10 and do 100 grand. Like,
I would say that's pretty good, yeah.
So yeah, that sent all of Tangang after me. Now they all think I'm a scammer. It's like, okay, buddy. Like, I'm a great trader, and I'm not ashamed of anything I do. Like I said, you go on DBank, you type in Sunny, you'll see me. 55,000 transactions. You can go look at every single one of them. I've been on this chain every single day for over a year.
Yeah, and you deserve it because you're taking the time and you're learning and you're teaching. So I have no issue with that. This is the nature of the game. But you're also trying to lift everyone up so everybody else can learn at the same time as well, and everybody else can win at the same time as well.
Yeah, there's more than enough money in crypto for all of us to win, especially if you're here and you're trying to do what we're doing in Atropa. And,
Maddie, would you like to say anything before we finish the stream?
Yeah, I'll do a quick one too. I just wanted to say that I'm actually really happy how this is playing out right now. That some people, that there's like such a wide range right now of people already creating content about it. It's high quality. You were asking earlier about we need a movement, dude. You're the movement. You have already a fucking library that's huge about all topics about Atropa and decentralized media. There's so many people that have done so much already positive work that the movement is just happening by itself. We don't even have to like centralize it. Stuff gets fucked when it gets centralized. That's my opinion. Generally, centralization of power and knowledge often leads to bad things, not to positive things. So I just want to give you props for all the work you've put in, and I'm just trying to be a small part in this too. And I'm happy about everybody who is putting in time, energy, and positive a mindset into this to make this grow into the thing it can be, and it will be, in my opinion, anyway. Even if we don't do stuff, because it's just cold math.
Love it. Beautifully said. And right back at you, and right back at everyone. I mean, everyone. Sometimes I feel a little bit weird because people look at me like because I've got a channel that somehow I know more than others, or I've like I know what the next move is going to be, or what the best token to pick is, or it's really not like that. I really just feel like a voice for everybody else. Everybody, it's like I'm just one drop in the ocean, and all I'm doing is the drop that I am is the one that's actually speaking about what the ocean is actually doing. So that's how I feel about it. I definitely don't feel like I know more than others or I'm better than others, and I just think without each other, like this channel is nothing anyway. And all the positive energy that people give back to me in the comments and you guys, like it really motivates me. So it's like a two-way thing. It's not a one-way street. And also it's like, what a blessing. I mean, if I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Atropa is now it's going to continue to do what it's going to do. And it's like, wow, what a blessing. I actually was able to be one of the first to really start talking about it. That's a huge blessing. This to me is going to be like, this actually is a revolutionary system in cryptocurrency. It actually is truly decentralized finance. So forever in the future, it's going to be like there was this point before Pulse Chain and the Atropa ecosystem, and then after, it's like, wow, we really took everything in crypto and made it into something that we can actually call a financial system. Prior to this, everything's just pump and dumps. Everything's just player versus player. But now we can actually say this is a decentralized financial system. So it actually is like a big, big blessing. So thank you very much to everybody. Thank you, everyone, for all the positivity.
And don't get in the habit yourself and everyone listening of judging yourself against others, right? Like none of this existed a year ago. This is all new. And we're all still learning, just a couple of weeks ago, the LUSD price being pegged to the right thing and stopping the minting, or not stopping it, but making it so it's not profitable at the moment, right? So like that's a year into it, and there was there was arguments even within devs that were just trying to do the same thing, right? But like there's a whole community that's still figuring it out, so we're all still super early.
It's hard to you lose sight of that sometimes, and I myself have lost sight of that as well. It's like I want to get more PDA, I want to get more Atropa, but we're still so early. It's like the bull run has just started, but then we're still only in the first cycle of all of this anyway. It's still so early. So again, that abundance mindset.
Zoom out on your Atropa thoughts and just realize that Atropa is the new token standard, right? Like there's no reason for you to not launch in such a way. Like we've learned production quality with burning tokens and how to pair LPs and a whole lot of different things. Like for anyone to just go launch some coin, it's just, oh, here's the supply, here's some pulse, go have fun, or ETH or Sol. Like it's the same meme coin up and down over and over again. But like anyone truly building something solid will have a foundation similar to Atropa, or people probably won't take them seriously.
You're dead right. And I think that was one of my, that's why for me, it's like there's this point before the Atropa ecosystem and there's this point after, like the consciousness of even everything on Pulse Chain. Like so many people are now having this ethos of bonding tokens. And they might not even necessarily, like I know, for example, with the Tang Gang, they probably won't openly admit that, oh, we borrowed this idea from the 414 dev. They might not even have borrowed it from the 414 dev consciously, but subconsciously, because that energy now exists in the world, that idea is going to manifest in their mind. So it all started from this point. And it's like, again, it's like the before and then the after. It's like the age of enlightenment of cryptocurrency. That's kind of what it feels like. So the Moon King's here as well.
Beat the roots.
It's your boy. Oh, very good.
I had great fun with you again. Thanks for supporting this whole community, brother. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it.
No, thanks for coming up. I appreciate both you guys jumping in. Sonny, thank you for jumping in straight away. I've been wanting to do another stream with you for quite some time. Maddie, I loved our time together. So I want to keep doing these streams. I don't know how often I'll do them, but this is what I want to do, where it's going to be like, just educating, sharing, building things together, learning together, and let's just keep moving forward with this movement. Awesome. I might wrap it up there. Thank you very much. I'll end it with Muddy's comment, because Muddy was the one who really kickstarted me into this. So thank you, Muddy. And thank you very much, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed. Share out this stream, share with everybody, go back to the start. And again, if those are principles and mindsets that you agree with, leave it in the comments. Really start sharing and spreading that idea about really trying to nurture it. Because again, with the positivity will outweigh the negativity. There's always going to be negativity, but let's just focus on the positive. Let's not even think about the negative. Let's just focus on the positive and keep moving forward no matter what, because that's what we have to do. So with that, thank you, Sonny. Thank you, Maddie. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Take care.
Peace out, brother.